Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to look at switch statements. So basically we'll be looking at what are switch statements, what is like the break condition, and like nested switch cases and all these other things. So let me just create a new project over here. I'm going to say next, create project from template. I'm going to add it over here like in my lectures. I can say conditions and loops. Maybe I can create a new one that says switch, and that looks good. Finish. Cool. So what are switch cases and switch statements? Well, before we jump into switch statements, let's look at a question. Okay, so let's say the question states something like, you take a word input, which will be a fruit. So for example, I can take scanner, input is equal to new scanner system.in, and I will take in a fruit. I can say string, fruit will be like a string, a collection of characters, hence I'm putting it as string data structure. So I can say in dot next. We have already seen this. By the way, if you're new to the playlist, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All the entire DSA complete playlist, you can find it in the description below, and you can also find the code samples, assignments, and everything also link in the description below. Okay, so it will take a fruit as an input. Now let's say you want to say if the input is mango, then you have to display king of fruits. If the input is apple, you have to display a sweet red fruit. If the input is orange, you have to display round fruit. And if the input is grapes, then you have to display something like small fruit. Okay, so one way you might imagine to do this is you can say, hey Kunal, we can maybe add many if conditions. So you can say if fruit dot equals. So basically in strings what happened is that remember the first lecture we did, like the initial lectures we were learning about objects and memories and heaps, stack memory, heap memory, multiple reference variables can point to the same object and everything. So basically there's something known as a string pool. By the way, you can check out the syllabus in the description. I'm following the syllabus line by line, so we will be doing this in detail. We have a separate module on string builder and how these things work and how we compare these with each other. Basically if I write over here, if I'm making a check like fruit is equal to let's say mango, so it's giving me some highlight over here like, hey, don't check it via equal to, use the dot equals method. So it's using the dot equals method because the dot equals methods basically compares the, you can see specified object. So you can say the result is true if and only the argument is not null, and the string and is a string object that represents the same sequence of characters as this object. In simple language, if the value is true, it only checks the value basically. Okay, dot equals only checks the value. Okay, so for example, what I mean by this is that if I have something like string, by the way, we'll be doing this in detail later on. String A is equal to Kunal, and then I can say string B is equal to Kunal. Then the question is, how do you know that this string A and string B, basically Kunal is the same value? How do we know that string A is pointing to the same Kunal object and B is pointing to the same Kunal object? That is the first approach. Or second thing that might happen is A and B might have their own different Kunal objects. Which one is the answer? We can do this by A equal to B. Let's print this. It's giving true. It basically means that there is only one Kunal object and A and B are pointing towards the same object. Equal to also checks the reference of this. Okay, but we don't want to check the reference of these strings. We also want to check the, we just want to check the value of the string. Okay, so I hope this is clear. If it's not, then I can just quickly showcase over here. So if I say A is pointing to Kunal, okay, something like this, B is also pointing to Kunal. In this case, equal to will give me true. Okay, equal to A is equal to B will give me true. This is an object that has been created. Okay, in the second example, if this is pointing towards the different objects, so if I say A is pointing to Kunal something, B is pointing to some other object Kunal. In this case, equal to may give false, will give false. Okay, hence we are not using equal to, we are using dot equals to check. So if I'm saying something like, we will do this in detail, don't worry, in the string section. If fruit dot equals mango, or if a dot equals b, dot equals will give true in both of these cases, because it's only checking the value and not the reference. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. Don't worry, we will do this in detail like later on. All right, let's move forward. So here, if you see, if fruit is equal to mango, you can print king of fruit. You can say if fruit dot equals apple, you can say print a sweet red fruit in the string. Okay, don't worry, we'll do strings in detail. We'll learn about the mutability and everything of strings. Don't worry about it. Just for now, just compare it with equals. Why we are doing it in more depth, we will look into the string module. But here you can see I did not add else over here. You can add else if you want, but else is not required, because if the fruit string is equal to mango, definitely it will not be equal to anything else. Okay, so hence any one of these conditions will only be true. Okay, that's why else is not required, obviously. So you can put it or you can ignore it, it does not matter. You can see this is looking a little bit repetitive, it's not looking very nice, it's not a nice syntax. We can use switch cases for this. So this is a syntax for switch expressions. So you add an expression over here. In this case, the expression will be like our fruit. Okay, and whatever the answer of that, like the possible choices of that expression, will go into each and every individual cases. That is the use of the case over here. And for every case, we will be doing something. Okay, so I think switch is explained, expression is explained, cases are explained, doing something is explained. Here we can just print out case mango, print king of fruits, case apple, print a sweet red fruit. Okay, what is this break condition? Break is basically used to terminate the sequence. Okay, whenever you have found like the particular answer, and when you display it or do whatever you want to do, if you don't print break, if you don't do the break part, it will keep on checking all the others as well. I'll just show you right now. It's optional, but just make sure that it will, if you don't put break, it will keep on showing it again and again and again. In the newer syntax of switch cases, this is a bit old. We will also look into the newer syntax that's much more nice and much more clean. That's like way better than this one in Java. Okay, one more thing you have to notice is that the cases should have the same type as the expressions and must be like either constant or a literal. So they cannot be like your variables or whatever. So for example, the expression that we put over here is fruit. Fruit is type string. So cases should also be of type string. Okay, duplicate cases are not allowed. It's not like this will be mango, this will be mango as well. Not allowed. Break is used to terminate. If break is not used, it will continue till the next cases. That is also fine. We will look into example of that as well. Default is basically if none of these execute, the default will execute. Okay, if none of the above like are true basically. And if default is not the end, then basically, if you put default somewhere over here in the middle and you don't want the ones after the default executing, then you can just put a break after it. We'll see the example of this as well. Okay, but first let's look into like the basic example of this. So like switch, my expression will be fruit, my case 1 will be mango, and I'm just going to say print king of fruits. Break condition. Second will be apple. I can say sweet red fruit, and I'm just going to say break. Third case will be orange. I'll say something like round fruit, and then I'll have case I can add a break over here. Okay, then I have a case of grapes. Then I can just print something like small fruit. Break. And otherwise case you know, for your default cases, basically you can just add like the default value over here. You don't have to put a case, you can just say default value. It's going to be something like since this is the last one and no more statement is after this, you don't need to put a break over here. Okay, so after this no break is required. So you can say please enter a valid fruit. Okay, so here basically if I try to run this, say something like apple, it's saying a sweet red fruit. It directly, you know, it jumped onto the apple case and it printed out this. Nice, cool. Imagine, see what will happen if I remove the break cases. Whenever it finds like the apple thing, it will keep on going. Let's run this. So now it will not, oh no, so it will break over here, but let's say I print orange. Okay, I write orange. You can see even though it will print like round fruit and whatever, it will keep on going. Okay, this should be small, but you see my point, right? It found orange, print it, no break was here, hence it kept on going. It executed this also and this also. If break is not, in simple terms, if break is not provided, then all the executions below it will execute. Let's say I put break over here, for example. So the two cases will happen. If it will keep on executing till the end, or it will keep on executing till there is like a break. So if I add orange over here, again, so it's going to say, it's going to print this, no break condition, it's going to print the next one, go to the next one as well. Break condition, it will break out of it. It did not print this. Okay, similarly, if default was somewhere in the middle, like this, and you do not want to, you know, execute this when the default condition is hit, you can print, you can add break over here. But by convention, default goes at the end only. Okay, so put it at the end. Okay, cool. So here, I believe you are able to understand why we are putting the break condition. All right, cool. That is pretty much about it. Very simple stuff. Okay, let's see if we missed out on anything. Cases have to be same type, that is true, must be constant. Duplicate cases are not allowed. So if I put mango over here, error, it's giving me error. And you can also check it, you know, how it's working. If I try to debug it, let's say with orange, let me try to debug it. Sorry, not with orange, that's not correct. I should try to place the debug pointer over here. What is a debug pointer, if you might be wondering? Debug pointer is whenever you run this program and when this finds a debug pointer, it will stop there and then you can execute your code line by line. So it will basically stop here. Not run, debug. Okay, let's put orange. So now it's over here, fruit is orange. Directly it jumped onto the orange statement. It didn't happen like if condition. If condition, what was happening in that? If fruit is mango, print this. Otherwise, if fruit is apple, print this. Otherwise, is this. So it's jumping like onto this one because it automatically knows that this is the case. Okay, it's also looking very neat. Well, it's going to be looking much more neater, if that's a word, shortly. So you can see this is why I love IntelliJ IDEA. You know, it's highlighting this. It's saying that switch statement can be replaced with enhanced switch. So in Windows, you can do Alt Enter. In Mac, you can do Option Enter. Sorry, Control Enter. Sorry, no, it's I think Option Enter. Yeah, Option Enter. Alt Enter in Windows and Option Enter in Mac. So Option Enter replaced with enhanced switch statement. It's automatically going to change its syntax to a very new syntax, very neat syntax and very nice syntax. Let's see. It's doing the same thing, but the format will change. Isn't this much more cleaner? Simple. Switch fruit, case mango, do this. Case apple, do this. Case orange, do this. Break condition not required over here. Okay. If I write over here, let's say something like apple, you can see it's only printing apple. So internally, you might imagine that there is break condition after each and every one of this. Okay. And it's looking much more cleaner. So clean it's looking. Very nice. All right. Cool. We can also run the default statement. Let's say I print something like I do not type anything that is related to mango, apple, orange, or grapes. So now it's running the default statement. Like if any one of these is not true, run the default statement, which is print please enter a valid fruit. You can do many other things with it. You can say something like, if I comment this out, you can say something like, int day is equal to in dot next int. Okay, you can use something like this. Then I can say switch day I can say case 1 basically means, so basically this is a syntax, case 1 arrow. So I'm just going to say print Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Basically saying if the day number is 1, you can just print it's Monday. If the day number is 3, print Wednesday. Let's try it out. Let's say I say 4 or 5 because I like Fridays. It's Friday. Very nice. So if you want to directly eliminate like the multiple if conditions and directly jump onto the main one, switch cases can be very helpful in many cases. And by the way, since if it is only one line of code, if there's like multiple lines of code in every case in this syntax, you can also add like curly braces over here, something like this. Okay, so this is also a valid way. Let me just try to convert it into old style switch casement. So this is the old style one, and the idea with the old style one is that let's try something else. Let's see when we would not want to use a break condition. Okay, that might be a case as well when you might not want to use a break condition. So let me convert this into the previous one, like so you can see replace switch with if. You can also replace it with if. So you can see if, else if, else if, else if. Basically this thing is being replaced with a switch casement. Okay, if you wanted to do the same thing with if else, you can do it like this. It's looking very dirty, hence we can use the switch cases. Even much better will be like this, much better. Okay, let me hide this for a second. Let me show you something if I'm not using break conditions. So you can say something like what are weekends or what are weekdays. So basically I know all of these are weekdays and these are weekends. So basically if you just remove the break condition and just put the break condition right here, so you can say something like weekday. Here you can say something like weekend. Don't need this, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. So here it can basically say that whenever you are putting any particular day, so if you put 3, since there is no break condition over here, it will keep on executing till it finds a break condition. So no matter which day you are putting in, it will end over here only. So hence, if you are putting 1, 2, 3 or 5, it will end over here. If you're putting 6 or 7, it will end over here. So if you're putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it will print weekday. Otherwise it will print weekend. That's the benefit of not putting a break condition. 4, so it's giving me weekday. Let's try to replace this with the enhanced one. So enhanced one basically says case all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pretty. How pretty is this? See, just compare it. Let me copy paste. This is the same thing. This and this is the same thing, but this is so much prettier. How nice is this one? Right? Doing the same thing. Here you have to write cases multiple times. Case. This is so nice. So basically, this basically means it's switching the break condition for all of these. If you want to compare this with this is exactly the same thing. I'm going to comment this out. Basically, for day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, weekday. For 6 to 7, print this thing. Nice. All right. Now let's look into nested switch cases. So nested switch cases basically means switch case inside of a switch case. Like you have nested if conditions, if inside a if, inside a if. You can have switch case inside a switch case as well. So let's say we take like the employee number. Okay, employee number is, let's say, in dot next int, whatever. Let me just try to hide this. this one, let me just try to comment this out, or I'll just create a new file. Okay, let me just create a new file over here. So I'll create a new file that is like nested switch. So here I'm saying public static void main. I'm going to take an input like scanner in is equal to new scanner, system dot in, and then I can just say, let's say I input an employee ID. So employee ID, it's going to be equal to in dot next int, and then it's going to be something like the department. Okay, the department, it's going to be something like in dot next. So I'm going to taking a string. So I'm going to say switch. First I'm going to take the employee ID. Okay, and then I'm basically going to say case 1, and then I'm just going to say something. I'm going to say, let's say case 2, do something, and say case 3. So nested if basically means if nested switch basically means switch inside a switch. So I can just print like s out, say Kunal Kushwaha or whatever. Okay, here I can print something like Rahul Rana. For let's say case number 3, I also want to print which department they are from. So I can add another switch case that contains department over here. Now I can add another switch case, like another cases like IT. So here I can say print IT department. Okay, and then I can say break. Otherwise I can say case management. Can say management department break. I can add a default value to this. No department entered or something like that. And here also I can add a default value. Enter correct employee ID or something, right? So I can do something like this. And let me try to run this. So if I say something like case number like ID 3 and I input something like IT, so it's basically going to print something like this. Let me add something over here that says print employee number 3. This is basically nested switch condition. So if I input 3 over here, it will print employee number 3, and then it will do something like this. Okay, if I input 3 and IT, it's going to print employee number 3 department IT. If I print 2, it's just going to print Rahul Rana. Let's print something like, let's say I just do ID number 2 and I can give something like IT. So here there is no nested if, so I can just add, it's just going to print Rahul Rana. That's it. Let's try to run it again. Let's say I put 3 and then I print IT. So it's going to say IT department, and basically I forgot to add a break over here, hence it also executed the default one, because if you don't add a break in any case, it will execute all the ones before it. Add a break over here. All right, so one more cool thing you can see, when there was no break over here, it was not giving me suggestion to enhance this. Now that I have a break over here, it's giving me suggestions to enhance this. It basically means that in this enhanced way, the one we did over here earlier, the enhanced way, every particular line contains a break condition, but it's not written. So if I run this and I put 3 now, 3 and management, let's say employee number 3, management department. Very cool stuff. So if I try to copy this and make it enhanced, look how pretty this will look. It's very big right now. Alt enter. Very nice. Better way to write, much more cleaner way. Every case already has a break condition associated with it. In each if condition, you can add another switch case over here. Okay, so you can add multiple switch cases. And I believe that was it about this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And all the previous videos are available in the playlist below. Assignments, quizzes, and everything I uploaded daily. Check out the Discord where people are, resolving doubts, learning together, and solving assignments and everything. And make sure you check out the GitHub repository. Entire syllabus is listed over here. We will cover this course in 2 months. Do not worry. I'll go through everything in detail. It's going to be one of the best courses on data structures, algorithms, and problem solving. And I can definitely say this, and it's not my words. Many people are like really appreciating. Check out the comments. And if you really like this course, if you want to support the good work that I'm doing, and free for all and putting in so many hours, just subscribe, share with your friends, and comment and like. That is it. Don't need anything else. Just share about it. And education free for everyone, always 100% in complete education. And that's the plan, and we'll make it a reality. Thanks a lot for watching. In the next videos, we'll start with data structures and algorithms, and I'll see you in the next one.